Alright, so what we've got going on here is we have an old piece of sodium, been sitting in some oil for quite a while. It's got some contamination on the outside, and it's fairly thin, the contamination. But what do you do when you want to get it off? So one of the easier things to do is we've got some oil and it's already been heated. Now we're going to use the oil because it distributes the heat evenly over this. Let me back the heat up just a little bit. And, just started getting hot. So the thing is you don't want hot spots. Sodium will ignite at just around 250 degrees Fahrenheit, which, you know, visually you can't tell a lot of difference between 200 and 250. So the oil does a couple things. Number one is it spreads out the heat. And two is when your sodium does melt, it's going to fall under the oil and it's going to be protected from the oxygen. Sodium can't ignite if it's covered by oil. So that's a nice feature of using the oil. The oil does cause a little bit of smoke, so you're going to want to use a fume hood or a large work area. We're going to just go ahead and let that warm up here a little bit. I'll move it around every once in a while. Okay, so we got the sodium melting just a little bit here. And I'm going to move around so that my arm isn't really in the way of it. And you should be able to start seeing the sodium melting. Can you see it?
No, it just looks like a pile
And you're just seeing the sodium sink down into the oil. And now that we have some sodium melting, we're going to add a couple more sticks. Oh. You might be able to see that. That's still not quite hot enough. Now sodium's a superconductor of heat, and so the top of that sodium block that I'm holding is almost the same temperature as the bit in the bottom. It's so good, in fact, that they use it in nuclear reactors to distribute the heat from the reaction. Once it starts melting, it really goes pretty quick, as you can see. Like I said, the whole block warms up about the same. Alright, so we've come in for a little bit better angle. Now you can see there's sodium in the bottom, and I have since turned off the heat. The sodium's plenty hot at this point. It's going to continue melting this block here, and it won't take very long. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit. This stuff on the top of the sodium and the oil, that's all your contamination. So you can do one of a couple things. You can scrape it off, strainer. So this one's been used, so you know, gotta wash it off before you do that. And or you can do one of my other ways, my favorite ways, which is just take the sodium straight off the bottom. Don't even bother worrying about the contamination, because if it's on the top, then you know where it's at. So what I've got here is I've got a syringe. So I got this syringe here on eBay. I think I paid $3 or $4 for it. It's glass. It's better than the ones that you get that are plastic at the vet store because, you know, it's reusable. It doesn't melt at these temperatures. The other ones are kind of single use, so that's not a lot of fun. So we're going to zoom out just a little bit here, and we're going to show you what we're doing. I've got a couple molds here that we made, and sodium doesn't really react to silicone rubber. And I guess first I need to tell you, it's a good idea to warm this syringe up just a little bit. You see how pretty that sodium is? I'm just going to cycle it through a couple times and let the sodium warm up the glass. So instead of worrying about all this contamination on the surface and worrying about how to get rid of it, what I like to do is I just like to use a syringe. This is a glass syringe. It's pretty nice, reusable. You can, it withstands the temperatures of the sodium really well. So I'm just going to suck some sodium up, very silver, and push it back down. No, it's stuck. Well, the reason why I was pushing it back down was so it wouldn't get stuck, but I wasn't fast enough. Trying to show you what I was doing. So we're just going to warm that up. So there we go. Oh, lost a little bit. And the goal is just to get the glass up 200 degrees so that the sodium can stay melted. We're just going to pump it in and out, let it equalize, and get it up a little higher. Okay, by now our syringe should be nice and warm, and you'll see that as I pull that in, that is just absolutely pure sodium. And we're just going to take it over here. We're going to inject it into a mold. And a little bit more. This mold has a little bit of food grade mineral oil in it. Protects the sodium, and it also protects the silicone rubber. Okay, that one's full. And move on to the next one. Just a little bit over 100 cc's each on these molds. Put it back in. All right, let's take a break, see what we could come back with. All right, so let's see what we've got here in our mold. All right, take off the bands, remove the top slug, and nice hand grenade. All right. Let's go put it in oil.